Hi everyone, and welcome to Lunar Studios. We are here in celebration of Earth Day today with the incredible social change activist and artist Anya Mielniczek. She has just created our newest piece that's living here in the studio, Climate Change Piano. We have big dreams for this piece, and I'm so excited for you all to get to know the incredible artist behind it. Anya, it's so nice to have you back in the studio, back in the space. I wanted to start off by some of the core things that made me fall in love with you was a little bit about your journey of how you came to doing this particular work and using your work as a form of activism. Because I know you started out in the fine art space and a very technical space. So tell us about that journey.
For sure, I'd love to. Well, first of all, thank you so much. This piano was so much fun. It was honestly a dream come true, and getting to actually incorporate the waste in it was like next level. So pretty much what got me into working with waste and more environmentally activated work, when I was in third year university, I was actually taking a bus back to school. And I was watching The Cove. So if anyone's ever seen The Cove, it's a documentary about dolphin murders off of the coast of Japan. And I'm on this bus and I'm watching this documentary, and the documentary ends and I'm just like literally bawling my eyes out, like really moved and infuriated by like the things that are happening in the world. And that's really kind of like where I had this spark where I'm like, I think I need to quit university. Like I just need to get out in the world and actually make a difference. And at that time, obviously, I mean, maybe not obviously, but for me, it really wasn't an option to quit school. And like the more I really thought about it, I'm like, if there's a way for me to actually use my work to be a voice for nature and also to be a voice for the concerns that I'm having, like that's definitely the route that I want to take. And I think for me, also growing up, going to Poland and seeing like my grandparents' generation and the way that they actually utilize absolutely everything, like nothing goes to waste, everything has some sort of like value to it, then it just kind of started making me think about, the first thing was really these candy wrappers. And if I like folded them, like the metallic ones, they fold so nicely and they just have like such a tactile character to them. And from that, I was like, you know what, like I can do stuff with this. Like I can take something that's like otherwise garbage. And with that too, it was really interesting for me because it's like something like a candy wrapper is so small and we don't think about it when we throw in the garbage. But when you think about like the billions of candy wrappers, like you start to grow like it's just mountains of them. That's kind of like where my activism, but also just like kind of this waste idea came together. And down the road, it's brought me to this piano. So it's so exciting because I could have never thought that it would really kind of that interest of mine would bring me here.
I noticed that your work really takes many different forms, many different shapes. And even obviously we're looking at the piano right now, but I'm looking at other pieces that we have here in the office that you've done. And you know, there's just so much fluidity in the way that you create. So can you tell me a little bit about how you found the courage to be an artist that didn't confine themselves into one particular box?
So I find that my kind of compass really, I just listen to what I'm feeling. Like I've always more or less like always tuned into what brings me happiness in that moment. And like sometimes when I'm working on portraiture, like I'm loving it, it's really exciting. But then like the day that I kind of wake up and I go to do a portrait and it just feels like way more mechanic or robotic, I'm just like, oof, okay, like now I'm starting to force something. And I always believe that like there's no great thing that comes out of forcing anything. My style, definitely there's a flow through all my work, but I definitely hop around from materials and themes and imagery just so I stay inspired and I stay happy, and it's really just following my heart.
I feel like you don't even understand how much wisdom there is in what you're saying and how important what you're saying is to really the movement of trying to break out of the system right now that is obviously harming our planet and harming people, and that's kind of what conscious economics is all about. So this idea that we can actually tune into how we feel, this idea that we can fluidly move through spaces. And when I see how this applies to like the labor force, let's say, where people feel this need to, you know, monotonously show up in a particular way, all their creative juice juices and all their innovative freedom is taken out. And so in this time where we say that we need to challenge the status quo, we need to come up with really intricate solutions to challenging problems, the importance of being able to kind of listen to what inspires you when you feel motivated, created, and when you don't is so key. And that's why art is a pillar of the conscious economy, and that's why artists like you are so critical to the conversation. I wonder what you feel about this notion of artists not being able to be wealthy or profitable or, functioning within the economy. That's so ingrained in the system, but I think that you challenge that notion as well. So how did you get to that point?
Definitely when I was in art school, I didn't think it was possible to be an artist, or I just didn't even invite that kind of idea into my head. It was kind of like, you're always gonna struggle, you're never gonna make it, you're not gonna make a career, it's like super hard. So I didn't even entertain that notion until again, it was just like, it clicked in my head one day that it's like, I love this and I want to do this, so I'm gonna go do it. And I mean, I've definitely had enough arguments around just if life picked me or I chose this vessel and it wanted to be a doctor, that would have been awesome and that would have been easy or something like that. But I'm here and I want to be an artist, so I really got to honor that path. And I think now more than ever, there's so many possibilities to really make it as a creative. I mean, we have social media, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. You see the amount of creatives running small businesses, promoting themselves, sharing their voice, sharing their story. So now more than ever, it's the sky literally is the limit with how you can curate your business, your creativity, your art, and really share it with your community and show what you have to offer. Literally, I feel at this point, it's the only thing that would really stop you is yourself. Mm-hmm. It's the limiting beliefs that you have about your practice or your career and where you can get and how you can get there. And it's really reworking those thoughts.
Well, and thank you for occupying that space, because every time somebody steps into the space of listening to their heart and working from their heart and showing up in the world that way, you activate others to do the same. And that's why we want to highlight artists like you through conscious economics, is because we want to show people and see to believe that it is possible, which it is. And it kind of brings me to the question of how do you or when do you feel the most successful?
I feel the most successful when I've landed a project, or even if I'm working on my own in the studio and just things are aligning. So, I mean, I feel the most successful when I'm just creating art and I'm happy and I'm crying. Not crying, but when you hit that moment in life when you're doing something and it just, you realize this is it, this is exactly where I want to be, what I'm doing, and I feel so fulfilled. And it doesn't have to be anything massive or huge. It's just the truth of I'm following my heart, I'm staying true to what makes me happy, what brings me joy. And if it's literally just doing mixed media portraits at my desk with my cats running across them, I'm this is awesome. This is what I want to be doing, as to being stuck behind a desk 9 to 5, working on the computer for somebody else. That's not fulfilling, and doesn't make me feel I'm growing, or it doesn't make me feel I'm thriving. So it's even something like that, I'm this is success for me, that I'm still here today, being able to do this and moving forward and paying for myself. It's all possible. And so even too, it's with when I'm working outside and I'm able to paint murals where I can depict again another environmental issue or concern that I'm having, but I'm also engaging with the community and creating something that is bigger than myself. That too is success for me. I mean, then it just brings me back to the girl that was on the bus that really wanted to do something. And in those moments, I'm still staying true to that girl.
Wow, I love that so much. That just gave me a full chill. I wonder, your work has had you travel all around the world, and you've done so many projects, and I kind of feel this mothering element, we birth things into the world, you're creating these pieces. Do you love some pieces more than others? And what's been a piece that's made you feel this is it, or this is the epitome of what I wanted to be doing?
I'm not just saying this because I'm here and this piano's behind me, but when I finished it, I was I love this piece. And that also is like, it takes a lot for me to say, because there's some pieces like big murals, like I'm in them, I'm like right there, I'm creating them for 5 days straight, and like I'll literally walk away and I won't look back. And maybe that's also because it's like I'm just in it and then I like need to leave. But this piece, like, it was different for me. It really encompassed like not only just me painting, but like I love working with materials, and it also encompassed like art waste, which is like a whole other conversation. So I was able to use spray paint caps in it, and just to be able to implement painting with the sculptural tactile element onto a piano, which is a functional piece of like beautiful equipment / instrument. Like, it's just everything. And I love creating pieces that are also multi-purpose or multifunctional. So creating art that also serves as a piano, that can also be shared in other gatherings, that can be used, that, you know, it's just a dream. So this is one of my favorite pieces for sure.
We're so honored, first of all, that you were able to put your heart and your love into this piece. Let's talk a little bit about what the statement that you're making with the piano. What are you trying to say here, and what came through, and how did it feel to work with this piece? Like, what did it tell you to do? Like, how does it work when you're working with a living, breathing piece that's going to be used and has a purpose?
Well, first of all, this piano is beautiful. I love working with wood. You can see that too in this piece too. I feel like wood in itself, just natural wood grain, has so much beauty, and it has so much soul and character. I mean, wood is just such a beautiful material. I was really so pleasantly surprised to see even the intricate details like on the legs of the piano. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I didn't like put materials over those pieces, just so even like the piano itself could, you know, speak for the charm that it itself possesses, and kind of, yeah, evoke this kind of earthy but fun and playful feeling. So when we're talking about even about the environment, about climate change, that's definitely a conversation that can be super overwhelming, and it can be super difficult to have and to even process or comprehend. So making this piece not something that's like alarming or like in your face, but a piece that's like super joyful, I guess, or just super accessible and approachable, and using colors that work with the space itself, but also work with the piano and the piano color, making it kind of cohesive. And then when it came to the materials, I mean, I was just like ecstatic that I could really utilize the spray paint caps that I have and the gold wrappers, the candy wrappers. So these are all chocolate wrappers, and I find that when you're working with like gold, any metallic always like heightens a piece, and I feel like it gives like kind of like this luxe feeling. And like I love that, because really I'm just using garbage. So I really wanted to evoke this play into the conversation, because I think when we talk about climate change, it can be a dark conversation, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, there's so many alternatives, and there's so many amazing things that we can do as individuals. And I think that this piano, as it sits, it's really this invitation to that conversation being really fun and being really open-minded, and not something that's like the end of the world, because it's not. Like, we can literally change and shift rapidly. And I think even like the pandemic really showed us that. I mean, like in 2.5 seconds, like we're all wearing masks, we're all lining up all over the world. If we can do that within a year, like if we really put like our heads to it and all came together, we can move mountains for the climate.